I'm sure know of him already. Dr. Leon Kass, a conservative bioethicist, chairman of President George W. Bush's Council on Bioethics for 3 or 4 years. In a book, widely discussed book published in 2002, Life, Liberty, and the Defense of Dignity, there's a chapter called The Wisdom of Repugnance. Repugnance, of course, is just an old-fashioned name for disgust. Okay? Well, what Kass maintains is that in crucial cases, repugnance is the emotional, these are quotes, by the way, the emotional expression of deep wisdom beyond reason's power to fully articulate it. And he goes on to say that in this age, in which everything is held to be permissible so long as it's freely done, and in which our bodies are regarded as mere instruments of our autonomous rational will, repugnance may be the only voice left that speaks up to defend the core of our humanity. And this is the line that gets quoted most often: shallow are the souls that have forgotten how to shudder. Well, Kass goes on to use this claim as a fundamental part of his critique of human cloning. But other conservative theorists have picked up the idea and adopted it to argue against abortion, pornography, same-sex marriage. Repugnant, aren't they? Okay. Well, some philosophers, most notably Martha Nussbaum in the book on the right, challenge Kass, arguing that disgust should be discounted in moral and legal deliberations because, this is Martha's account, borrowed largely from Paul Rozin, roughly speaking, it reminds us of our animal origins or some silly view like that. I think the work we've been discussing offers a much more plausible and powerful critique of Kass and that tradition. There is no reason to think that there is wisdom in repugnance because disgust is a kludge. And the psychological system that bases moral judgments on disgust is a kludge twice over. No wisdom in kludges. All right, let me sum up. First thing I want to emphasize as strongly as I can emphasize anything is that all the more empirical claims I've made in this talk should be taken with a very big grain of salt. It's very early days in the scientific study of moral judgment. We've been at it for maybe 15 years or less. So all of this is still very tentative. I'll be very satisfied indeed with the afternoon if I've convinced you merely that science has a crucial role to play in advancing and transforming some of the most important conversations and debates in the humanities. And that's it.
So thank you, Steve. We're going to take a very quick break and reassemble in about 5 minutes.
Let me.
How does this work?
The easiest thing to do is it's ergonomic. Just hold it in your right hand. That button advances. So just put your thumb there.
I think I'm going to use the screen, you know, because I'm used to those.
Okay, in which case you can use the mouse.
Yeah.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. The goal is to keep moving because that way I'm harder to hit.
Is this live? Is this the mic live? Just quickly to tell everybody, we're having this 5-minute break. There's actually food and coffee for the break right outside. So if you're interested in something to refresh yourself, don't just sit here. Go eat.
Okay, so if everybody could take their seats, we'll begin again. It's not on? James? I need volume. Well, I'm just going to be for a second, so I just want to get this to introduce Kate, but thank you. Pardon? Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, so we're going to start again. So I'm going to ask you all to quiet down. And to introduce our second speaker will be Kate Flint, professor and chair of the English department.
A couple of years ago, Franco Moretti received a wonderful accolade from Britain's Guardian newspaper when it termed him a great iconoclast of literary criticism. So what shibboleths has he demolished in the course of a career that has taken him from a doctorate at the University of Rome to a professorship at Columbia to his current position as the Daniel C. and Laura Louise Bell Professor at Stanford, where he founded the Center for the Study of the Novel? Or to rephrase the question so that it's more in line with his deep interest in the cartographies of literary study, how has he redrawn the map? For a start, from his first monograph, Signs Taken for Wonders, 1983, he's analysed examples of high and mass culture alongside one another, looking at their formal structures, looking at their components, looking at their shared clues. This is a practice underscored by his privileging of form and its relationship to ideology. Form for him is intimately related to genre, and genre's mutations under specific cultural circumstances, as we see in his study of the European Bildungsroman, The Way of the World, 1987, and in his 1995 modern epic. Modern epic, Franco Moretti's term for such all-encompassing, planetary, dominating, linguistically greedy, polyphonic texts as Moby Dick, Wagner's Ring, Ulysses, and 100 Years of Solitude. The global compass of these earlier scholarly works leads one towards the premises in Franco's two most recent books, Atlas of the European Novel, 1800 to 1900, 1998, and Graphs, Maps, Trees, Abstract Models for a Literary History, 2005. Franco Moretti has become increasingly focused on the question of how can one write